Welcome back, everybody. Gaming Grandpa here, getting ready for the first transfer special of this season, Season 2, with St. Louis City Soccer Club and the MLS. This is Building a Dynasty. Now, you'll find out, just like every other transfer window, that we've lost a few players, some important players. That's just part of the nature of doing business in the MLS. You know, when a big team comes in for a player like a Man City or a Borussia Dortmund, it's really hard to keep your guys here. And if you struggle with that and keep them here and force them, then they're ticked off. And if they're highly influential or team leaders, there's not much choice you have other than to find some other players. And another problem with signing some of these foreign players, especially from Europe, they want to use my team as a stepping stone. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You know, it gives me a year with some potentially great talent, and you never know. Some of them, like Adele, might want to stay here for a while, and Popescu. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, it's time to see what players are new to the team and what players they lost. So sit back and enjoy. Alright guys, so we're going to just jump straight into the transfers, seeing how the transfer window, it's still open, but I'm pretty much done. If I sign anybody else or get rid of anybody else, I'll let you know, before that game. But anyway, I want to talk about a few of the players that came in. Now, most of these players I already had signed like last year. They just couldn't leave till they hit a certain age. And Wolfso is one of them. He is a goalkeeper. I got him to replace Angel Alonso. I was hoping he would get some game time, but I just couldn't figure out the way to register him. So, he's on a reserve contract, so right now he's starting in the B team, and he will get plenty of game time that way. But I'm hoping that he will develop. Once again, he's probably not going to be a permanent fixture. Most of these kids I'm signing are pretty much from just trying to make money. Okay, now, I had a weird draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players I drafted. I ended up with the first pick, the fourth pick, and I don't know, and I turned them picks into like 5 more picks in the first round. It was crazy. Every time I got ready to take a pick, there was a team wanting to trade me. So I did, and I got some good players. I really, truly did. But I got this guy, Edward Rojas. He plays, I don't even know what some of these kids play. He's an attacking, looks like left winger. But look at his stats, man. I mean, and once again, about the draft, even if these kids don't make it to be first team players, I can at least sell them and make some money. He's currently out on loan because, I only have so many starting spots for my B team. So a lot of these kids had to go out on loan to get some game time. And since he's already has an American nationality, it works perfect for me. All right, Patrick Davis is actually on the senior team. He has a Generation Adidas contract, but he is going to be a pretty good little player for me. He's a ball-winning midfielder, which, I love them. But look at his stats. I mean, his determination is just freaking amazing. His work rate, his teamwork. I mean, when players have that, the work rate and the high determination, they're going to develop a heck of a lot quicker. So I'm hoping he develops really well, and he's only 19, which is rare for the draft. All right, Zach Piper is another one that came from St. Louis Lions. Now, this kid probably is going to get sold next year, but he was my third-round pick. So it's like, you know what? It is what it is. But he plays left back, and he can play my central defensive position. All right, Michael Williams is another one. Decent stats, high determination, so, he'll develop quicker. He is a right winger. All right, this kid here plays left back, I do believe. Yep, left back. But, I mean, even he has decent stats, but he's unambitious. So he's not going to develop too well unless I could get him to change that, which, I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. Being in the B team, he probably won't. All right, Bamba was another one that I signed. Once again, he probably won't be here next year. But, it is what it is, and he's a striker. All right, I like this kid. He's a goalkeeper, and he's on my senior team. He's actually the backup to my starting goalkeeper, and he will get a little bit of playing time. He is also on a Generation Adidas contract. No, I'm sorry, he is not. I got him in the second round. I'm so sorry. This kid's on a Generation Adidas contract, and he is a center back. I'm sorry. Yep. But he's fairly ambitious. I mean, he has pretty good stats, and I think he's my highest rated player right now. I do believe. All right, my next player. This is my new starting goalkeeper, and I don't even ask me to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to be able to. But I paid $2 million for him, so it was a pretty good deal, I think, and he's getting way less than Berkey was getting, so that worked out for me. All right, I like this kid here too, and if you notice, I like to sign young players, but look at his current ability compared with his, potential. I mean, he's still improving, but he is going to play central mid for me because I got rid of Ostrak, but I think he's going to do a heck of a good job. All right, Pascal Ibrahim, he is actually on my senior team. He's going to be playing left winger for me, and I paid up to $300,000 for him. So I sign a lot of young players, and I stick them in my B team, and they get developed there. I can send them out from loan or whatever, but it's making a profit. I'm trying to make money so that my team can invest in better facilities and everything else. I mean, it's just the nature of the game. That's how you play it, right? All right, I signed this kid here. I'm sorry, this is the kid that I paid up to $300,000 for. He'll probably never ever see the senior team. He's just pretty much for business. Ibrahim, one more time, I got him free on a free transfer. So how can you not? All right, this kid is not. He's on loan until the end of their season. He's an American. He's going to end up being a backup. Basically, he's going to take Iqbal's spot this year. That's why I got Iqbal one more time, and I'm going to start replacing some of these foreign players with some American kids, bringing them back overseas and bringing them back here. But I think I did really well with him because look what he's valued, and I paid $450,000 for him. All right, this is another starter. He is going to be playing, I think, right wing. Yep, he's my right winger. And look at that. I mean, I did pay $4.8 million for him because he had a release clause. But, I mean, look at his stats, man. I mean, and he has a resolute personality. So, I'm loving him. And then here is my last one that I signed like a year ago, I believe it was. Another one that will probably never see first team action, but he could. I mean, he hopefully he will develop. I mean, he's very brave. He's fairly sporting. So I'm hoping that he develops really well. But he's on a SMS contract. And once again, most of these kids, it's a business decision. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all do that. Heck, the big clubs do that. And I'm trying to build a huge dynasty, and that's what I have to do. Okay, now, here we go. Joe Hernandez, I'm going to talk about the loans first. He was in my draft last year. I got him, and he has very high determination, but he's just not developing that well. I mean, he's going up a little bit better, but he's out on loan now with North Carolina so he can get his play time. I hope he develops, but he probably won't be here next year because he's not really worth that much. All right, Joseph Lopez, he was another player that I signed on a free transfer, hoping that I can make a little bit of money off of him, but he's probably not going to play much either. And we'll see. He actually has an American dual citizenship. All right, I already talked about Rojas. Once again, he was from the draft, and he's out on loan. All right, Ronaldo Royero. He might end up coming to the senior team at some point. But I should have kept him here because his development, everything is going down. But, next year I'm not loaning him out. I'm going to probably have him in the senior team just so I could get his development going and being mentored. All right, now Arias, he was another one that I signed last year, and I signed him just to make some money on him, but I have him currently out on loan, and he's developing fairly good. Okay, now for the two big ones. Berkey, doggone it, he's at Nottingham Forest, which is funny because after that debacle we went through at the end of the season when we're getting ready to do the MLS Cup, and then he just says that he wants to leave, and I kept getting these bids for him. He wanted to leave, and then he wanted to go to Saudi. And then, I kept delaying it. Well, right before I asked for another delay, he said he didn't want to go anymore, and they canceled it. So I was like, thank goodness. But if you look at his value, this is how bad the MLS is. on valuing players because we're such a lower league compared to everywhere else. All right, he was valued, max was like 8 million with me. So I increased it to 10 million at one point, but I got 10.25 million for him. Oh, excuse me. And I was thrilled that I got that much, but look at how much he's worth. All right. Now, after I sold Violante, I said I wasn't going to sell players anymore. Gog Katnick, man. I didn't have much of a choice, but look how much he's valued. 51 million. All right. Why couldn't I get that from him? I tried, but anytime I went over 5 million, teams just walked away. And that's because he's in the MLS. And it really sucks, you know. But I didn't pay but 1.4 million for him, so I actually made a profit on him. And I hated to lose him. But Borussia Dortmund, doggone it, came in for a bid, and that's when he said he wanted to leave. And when I rejected it, I had to make a promise that I would sell him for 13.5 million, which I was never going to get that. So then Man City came in for him, and he's like, I want to go there. And I'm like, crap. So I didn't want him throwing a tissy because he was an influential player at the time. So I sold him, and I did ask for a friendly, and I get 40% of all profits on his next sell. So I stand to make a good little chunk. I mean, can you imagine if they sell him, say they sell him 2 years from now for 70 million? I mean, holy crap, I'm going to get some really good money off of that deal. So it wasn't that bad to let him go for that. And that's what you have to do in the MLS. And it really, really sucks, but there's not much that I can do about it. All right. This is the first time I have greens all across the board. I do have one blemish, which is that tie right there. But I'm going to talk a little bit about my schedule. Doggone it, I'm losing track of where I'm at. I play a rigorous preseason, as you can tell. I do this on purpose. I always play the really, really hard games that I don't think we stand a chance to win at the beginning. That way we can make a bunch of money from them. And then I play ones that we should be able to wipe the floor with. That way it builds up my morale better and team cohesion better and everything else. So that's why I play such a rigorous preseason, not to mention the fact that I have basically 3 months before the season starts. So I got to let them do something, right? But anyway, if you look, OM and Benfica are my affiliate clubs. And, you know, if you look, we really didn't lose that bad to them. I mean, really, 2-1, 3-1, 2-1 is not bad. Millonarios, I can't pronounce that, kicked our butts. But you know what? By that time, I had my players resting, and not all of them got to start, so it's not that big of a deal. But that was the Grandpa's Cup. I was so excited about that, to have some really good teams this year, and they all accepted. And then we played Borussia Dortmund, which was the friendly that we got because of Violante. And that's another thing, guys. If you can't get the value you want for some of your players, throw in that friendly, especially to these big money clubs, man. Because I made almost $700,000 for Borussia Dortmund coming here playing. I mean, that was crazy. So you have to do that. But anyway, the toughest game of the season was against our B team, which that makes me very, very happy because that means my B team is being really competitive and doing what it's supposed to do. All right. But anyway, that pretty much everything I want to talk about. I'm going to show you the finances. Our balance is getting better. It's getting better, and that's what I care about. So I'm very, very happy about that. I do have a little bit of transfer debt. It's slowly going down. It's for payments and things like that, for clauses and whatnot. That's why it's there. But overall, I'm happy. I think we're doing a really, really good job. And we are about ready to go into the next game. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. And the competitions, by the way, does not show up for the Champions League yet. I don't know when that comes into play because it wasn't in the schedule yet, and I think it's towards the end of the season. Honestly, I do have a couple more transfers that I could talk about. You know, I'm selling Rivas from the B team, not really for very much money, but you know, it is what it is. I have some younger players that are coming in that I didn't really pay much money for at all. And once again, I mean, they don't have bad stats. You know, he's a goalkeeper, but he's going to be in a B team. Probably will never see the light of day on the main team. But you know what? Like I said, it's a business decision. I am trying to build up these players and make money off of them. If I could sell one of these kids in the future for, 10, 12 million, I would be happy, man. Really happy. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Maybe there was one other thing, and it's under, I think, training. I wanted to talk a little bit about my mentoring groups. I know everybody does it differently. Everybody tells you different things. Any player that can gain anything from a mentoring group on average and significant, I have in groups. All right, I like to have my attackers together, and since Adele is a highly influential player and he's resolute, and he has an average influence over the rest of the group, I mean, that's what I want, and it's working because some of these kids are picking up not only some of his traits, and he has nothing but good qualities, so that's what's good. All right, Maloney, even though I just signed him not too long ago, he's resolute, and so I am working on some of these other players, and I'm going to be really happy about it. So that's how I do that. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this special episode, this transfer special, and we're going to get ready to jump into the game next. So thank you for watching. Leave me a thumbs up, drop some comments, and subscribe if you want more videos, and I will talk to y'all later.